Hello and welcome to this week's edition of WCS Sports Connection. I'm your co-host Jeremy Qualls, and with me as always is co-host Tate Mathews. Tate, we have been out of the studio for a while. A lot of things have been going on. It is the summer months, not a lot going on. We're in the middle of dead period right now. There is no contact with the coaching staffs, with the athletes. This is a time for rest and recouping, if you will. Everybody goes on vacation, but the official grind begins next week when we come off dead period.
Yep, and it won't take long. Most of the schools in the county, they'll be throwing 7-on-7 with somebody or at a tournament as early as Tuesday. So they'll get back Monday, hand out helmets and shoulder pads, and then it's full bullets, man.
It's hard to believe that it's that time of the year again. It's our favorite time of the year. Obviously, we get to get into the football. We've had our chalk talks up to this point. We have a few left to do once we get everybody back from dead period. But, coming off the most successful football season ever in the history of WCS, can we duplicate what we did last year?
It's going to be tough. You had 2 state champions. But I think what did we have, 7 out of 8 playoff teams last year? Got a chance to do that again. So it's going to be fun. I think overall we'll be better. Will we have 2 state champions? I don't know. That's pretty tough to do.
That was a tall task. Of the 5A state champions, 6A state champions, repeating that. We'll get into that further in the show, but let's talk about a few things coming up. Have a big announcement to make, if you will, for the WCS Sports Conference is having our first ever Media Day at Nolensville High School on August the 4th. Tate, I think this has an opportunity to be a pretty cool community event.
Oh, yeah, and, it has a college-like feel. A lot of the things we're starting to do, you're starting to do, it has that college-type feel. And like you always say, anytime we can bring some more attention to our athletes, that's what it's all about, and that's a neat thing. If you haven't seen the turf at Nolensville yet, it's very nice. It's going to be a great venue. So, yeah, I think it'll be an exciting time, and I think that's something kind of like the Wilcos, that year after year it'll just grow and get bigger.
Well, it is a community event. It'll be free. It'll be open to anybody and everybody that wants to come. We're going to encourage booster clubs to be there with their tents setting up, selling their passes, selling their gear, if they will, for each of the teams. We're going to have a main stage. Every head coach is going to have a 15-minute segment on the main stage with the media, getting questions thrown at them, and hopefully media guides printed with rosters and schedules and whatnot. We know that D1 Sports are going to be there. They're going to be giving away passes, annual passes, as a giveaway. Street Tuxedo going to be having door prizes.
Are you going to wear a tuxedo?
No, we're not wearing tuxedos to the event. They will be there, though, with giveaways. Chick-fil-A. I mean, we've got a lot of people joining us as sponsorships on this. It's going to start at 12 o'clock. We're going to get those guys out. Obviously, it's going to be a 12 to 3 event, free to the public. I look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great deal for everybody to see the turf, one, because the questions have always been asked, what's the turf look like? What's it going to play like? Well, here's your opportunity to not only see it, but to be on it. And then at the same time, come and hear your favorite team, your coach. If you have a student athlete playing, this gives you an opportunity to also see those kids there as well. Just think it's going to be a real cool event.
I do too. And as you've seen from some of our chalk talks, we've got some really sharp guys as the head coaches here. They're fun to listen to. And usually if you pay attention, you get something out of it. So it'll be a fun way to kick it off.
Well, we also have a new thing coming down the pipe as well, is our partnership, WCS Sports Conference, partnering with Prep Tix. Is an online ticket agency out of Alabama. This is a pretty cool venture, I think, that's going to be beneficial to us as a whole. We're going to do a soft rollout, if you will, a trial and error basis with football to get all the kinks worked out, and then hopefully open it up to our main sports, volleyball, basketball, our higher revenue sports that have higher gates, baseball and softball. But it'll give you the opportunity through the WCS Sports Conference app to purchase your tickets in advance on an online fashion. Paperless, go to the gate, don't have to wait in line, hit the button and go through.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Now, I ask you off air, what about the guys that still have the flip phone or the Blackberries, because there are a few of them left? There's going to be a way for them to still attend the games, right?
Absolutely. You'll have to go to the website on a home computer and print out a ticket that'll have a QR code or scanner code on it. It'll be scanned just like you would if you went to a concert or if you went to any major sporting event, just like they use in the professional ranks. We'll be doing the same thing.
Well, and I don't know if this had anything to do with it, but I would think, it's one of the things that is hard on the schools when they have a home game is volunteers. So I guess that's that many less volunteers they're going to have to find. They can put them other places, right? because you're not going to be selling the tickets.
Well, you'll probably end up having an additional gate. You'll have your traditional ticket gate, and then you'll have your online gate, your
And then
prep
they'll
ticket
just
gate.
scan it.
And they'll go through and scan, or on your device, swipe, and you get a green light, you're good. Red light, obviously something's gone wrong. But we get nice statistical, analytical data on the back end of how many people we had attend the game that way. But you have to think, Tate, we had $647,000 in walk-up ticket sales this last year in football gate. So this will speed up the process first and foremost. You go any Friday night, you know that the lines are lengthy and long. This gives an opportunity for folks to go ahead and pre-purchase their tickets. Also, we're going to have season passes in the same fashion. That will be digital if you want to, or you can actually buy a hard copy. It looks like a credit card. It has a scanner on the back, and they'll scan it as you go in as well. And you can buy multiple game packages. You can buy. There's a lot of opportunities here for people to go ahead and get their tickets in advance.
Very cool. I'm excited.
I am too. I look forward to it. So let's go through each of the schedules of the WCS Sports Conference football teams. We're going to start off with the Brentwood Bruins. We're going to look at their schedule real quick, have a little over and under, and see and make a little prediction. Look in the crystal ball, if you will. Brentwood High School has a tough home opener. Matter of fact, this might be one of the best games we have all year long. Opening up on August 19th, Brentwood plays at Independence. And then as it goes, Ravenwood at home, Battle of the Woods in week 2, Rossview at home, Franklin away, Dixon County away, Northeast at home, West Creek at home, Centennial away, Henry County home, and Clarksville away. We have set the over-under bar for the Brentwood Bruins, and I'm sure Coach Crawford will be ecstatic of this, at 7.5 wins. Tate, what is your thoughts?
Tough schedule. First 4 weeks are really tough, depending on how good Rossview is. But, Independence is, as we'll get to a little bit later, we think they're going to be really good again. And then you've got Ravenwood, Rossview, Franklin. So, tough schedule. Over and under 7.5? I'm going with over.
Going with over. I'm looking at 7.
I think they get 8 regular season wins.
Surface on me, looking at 7-3. I'm missing one in there. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to take the over 2 at 8. And Brentwood goes into the playoffs strong this year. A little bit of confidence, more confidence in the, obviously it was kind of new territory last year after a couple of down years, but I feel like the Brentwood Bruins make a little noise in the playoffs this year and try to make a pretty deep run. So we're gonna both agree at the over, which is something we don't do often. What was your final record that you had them going? You have them at 8-2. Is that
8-2.
correct?
Yep.
I see the Independence game being a difficult one, and I also see the Franklin and Henry County games being a difficult one, with the Henry County possibly going one way or the other. What do you have?
Yeah, I agree. I think Independence and Franklin are going to be, if I had to pick, would be the two they would probably fall. Henry County, the thing I like is it's at home this year. So they played them really tough last year there. That's a tough place to play. It's a tough road trip. We talked about it last year. You don't get any favors there when you're there from the refs. And so, and I think they're a year better. So they're going to be at their place this year. It's, towards the end of the season, and they had the bye 2 weeks earlier. So I think they get that one.
Centennial, the Cougars right now under Coach Matt Kreisky, first-year coach for the Centennial Cougars. Tyrell Dotson no longer there, going to be at Texas A&M. Going to have a new look for the Cougars, possibly a lot of younger kids stepping into roles that the outgoing seniors now. The Katina kid on the offensive line, defensive line, he right now is a highly ranked mid-state kid at that position. Over and under bar set at them at 5.5, just purely because of the fact of graduation and new coaching. What do you have?
Tough one. There's a couple of swing games that they could get. That one's going to be a tough one. I'm going to go with under. I think they do get 5 wins. I think they do get into the playoffs, and I think by the end of the year they'll be playing really good ball. But kind of the same story. They've got 2. They start off the bat with maybe the 2 best teams in the county. So I think by the end of the season they'll be playing much better and getting ready for the playoffs. But first part of the season is going to be pretty tough.
Well, let's look at their rundown. They open up week 1, Franklin away at Franklin, at home against Independence. Week 3 at home against Dickson County, which we talked off there. Dickson County will not be a pushover. Right now they have a highly recruited young man out of there, and I failed to forget where he is committed to.
I saw it.
It's an ACC team.
Yeah.
But I feel that Dickson County will be not an automatic win like they've been in the last few years.
No, they'll be better. They got a good quarterback too.
Ravenwood away, Northeast away, West Creek at home for homecoming, Clarksville away, Brentwood at home, Rossview at home, and Henry County away. They have to make the long trip to Paris. I see right there that's going to be a difficult game for them as well. I think Brentwood being that much better this year also gives them a loss. Ravenwood possibly lost, and of course Franklin Independence there. 5-5. You're going to take the over. You're taking the under. At 5.5. I'm going to disagree with you. I think I may have missed one in there. I think they may squeeze out one that we're not giving them credit for. They get to their 6th win, go 6-4 with a possibility of making some noise there. You know, it's all about timing. If you close out the season and you happen to beat Henry County there and win 2 games going into the playoffs, anything can happen. So I'm going to take the over there.
Yep, and interesting note, Coach Kreisky obviously was the head coach at Forest before, so this isn't his first time as a head coach. First year at Centennial. He opens against Franklin, at Franklin. Matt played high school football at Henry County for none other than Donnie Webb. So he opens up with his high school coach, and then he ends at Henry County on the road in the regular season where he played high school ball. So both, big games anyways, but those are both going to hold special meaning for him.
On a side note, Coach Kreisky, obviously new to the WCS Sports Conference, not new to coaching by any stretch of the imagination. Fantastic guy.
Yes.
Work ethic.
Hard worker.
Is second to none. If they do not win, it's not for lack of effort and work. There's just the new system in place, new coaching staff. He's got to get his pieces of the puzzle, and that's hard to do in the amount of time. He's been there 6 months now. It's an uphill battle. Anytime you go in new, you try to do some different things. The kids are used to one system, trying to get used to another system, defensively and offensively. But it will not be from lack of effort. That is for sure. He's working hard right now. He's exciting. He's a very positive person. I think he feels good about things going that way, and I hope that they prove us both wrong and they have 8 or 9 wins. But it's yet to be determined.
And at 5 wins, they can still get in the playoffs. That's the main thing. Get in the playoffs.
Fairview High School on the 3A level. Coach Chris Hughes right now. Hunter Zimmerman no longer going to be there. 4-year starter. All the records were broken on the offensive side at quarterback. Seems to me that Fairview could take a hit. However, then you look at their schedule. You never know. Looking at their schedule right now, they start off with a Battle of 840 traditionally every year. Week 1 with Page, and it's at Fairview this year. Creekwood away. Stewart County away. Waverly is at home this year. Hickman County away. Cheatham County at home. Sycamore away. East Hickman at home. Camden away, and Harpeth at home for senior night. Over/under set at 5.5 games. What do you have, Tate?
I'll go over. I think they get 6.
Think you're going to go 6.
Yep.
I actually have them at 7-3. Coach Hughes, I know you'll be watching this. I'm putting the pressure on you at 7-3. I see a couple of hiccups here. My hiccup right now, and traditionally, and Fairview may beat them because I really don't know what they have, but Waverly tends to have an extremely athletic team. I think that could be a hurdle for them. Cheatham County is always going to be big.
Right.
That could be a hurdle. And Camden, for whatever reason, always gives fits to everybody in that region. So I've got 3 hurdles there. They could possibly win one of those hurdles and go 8-2, but I've got them at 7-3. I've got them over at 5.5.
Yep, I got the over 2.
Any hiccups there?
Oh, well, I agree with you on the Waverly. Hickman County, I think, they played them really tough last year, and they're getting better. I don't think they match up great with them, but you never know. I mean, we'll see what's going to happen. Who's going to be – the big thing is how are they going to be able to score points with Hunter gone. He always scores points there, so we'll find out what they're all about. We'll see how the matchup is. And then I agree with you on Camden. The other one is Harpeth. That one I think could be a little bit of a hiccup, but they're going to be around the 6 to 7, I would think. Page, if they could win that first one against Page, Now they got a chance to do something really special.
Well, my thought process on Page is on the Battle of 840 last year, Page absolutely dismantled Fairview, embarrassed them, and Coach Hughes will tell you so. And I really think that's motivation in the offseason for Fairview to bring that trophy back and to get back on that winning side. I feel like this year they will. They'll beat Page there in that first game and kind of get off on the right foot. Starting off at 3-0 is what I have them, and then going into that Waverly game, which could go either way. But I feel that the over there is pretty easy at 5.5. I feel like they get themselves in the playoffs.
If they can go 3-1 in the first 4 weeks, that's good.
Well, last year they started off 0-2
Right.
and had to dig themselves out of a hole, and did. Franklin High School is next. I'm just going to go ahead and go on record right now. Franklin High School, I don't know if you want to call it a dark horse, but I think this is the team that has the biggest ceiling, if you will. I feel like Franklin High School also has an opportunity to contend in the 6A level all the way and have an opportunity to be it. Now, there's a piece of the puzzle there that could possibly be missing. They need to establish a good running back, that breakout speed running back. Not sure they have that yet. Maybe they'll have it before season, but they are going to have the absolute dominating offensive line.
Yeah, it's going to be good, and they're going to run the option some. And you know, Coach Winfrey, if you don't know who he is, he's the offensive coordinator at Franklin. He's one of the best offensive coaches there is around. He does a great job. So he did a great job with them last year. I agree. And even if they don't find that running back, if they can get a running back by committee, have 2 or 3 guys that can. Number one thing is they can't turn the ball over. Hold on to the ball. They're going to have room to run. Might not have an 80-yard take it to the house type guy, but that's okay as long as they don't turn it over and they can get the 6-7 break off a 20-yarder here and there. I think they will. They are. If you talk to the other guys, Franklin's one of the hardest teams to play defensively because they make you play so disciplined. If you got one guy not doing his job, Franklin will make you pay. So I agree. I think they're going to be really good on offense, and they're going to have the biggest offensive line around.
Well, obviously, the doctor of defense likes to establish a good, strong running game.
Yes.
But you got Gaika out there on the outside as a good receiver, picking up a little bit of steam right now in the offseason when they go into these playmaker academies and whatnot. He's kind of picking up a little bit of notoriety, if you will, as being a good athlete out there. So possibilities, you set the run, and then all of a sudden you can get a couple throws in there.
And that's kind of how he was last year. He's not going to be a guy who's going to catch, 8, 9 balls a game. But when he does, they're usually big plays because they just keep hitting you with that run, keep hitting you with that option, then boom, play action. Somebody falls asleep back there, and he's fast enough to get behind them, and he's got good hands, makes big plays.
Well, I would say prep ticks will be used heavily at Franklin this year because it's going to be fun to watch. People are going to show up, always do. Anyways, the Rebellion there, that contingency, that fan base for the Franklin Rebels are as good, as we have. Let's look at the rundown here. Centennial at home, week 1, Riverdale away, Overton away, Brentwood at home, Ravenwood. Battle of the Woods will be at Ravenwood this year. Excuse me, not Battle of the Woods. Ravenwood away, Antioch at home for homecoming, Wilson Central home, McGavock away, Mount Juliet away, and Lebanon at home. Over under set at 7.5. Tate, I'm going to tell right now. I'm going to tell Dr. Defense, like I told Chris Hughes. I'm putting the pressure on. I have the Franklin High School team going 10-0. Right now. Now, I do see a few hiccups, but I have them going 10-0. That's a very bold prediction. I know that the Franklin-Brentwood game will be a good one, always is. I think the Mount Juliet game has an opportunity to be a pretty good game. And the Ravenwood game, you never count out Riverdale, but I really think that Franklin High has an opportunity to go undefeated this year. I'm going to obviously take the over on the 7.5.
I'm with you. I think the Ravenwood game is – because we don't know. I think that could be a tough one. Overton, they don't match up real well with Overton. It's away this year. That is one that would concern me. But you look at those first 5 games, if they can come out of there 5-0, man, they're sitting pretty as long as they can stay healthy. And, hey, some late injuries last year, who knows where they ended up. I mean, they were playing really, really well. And, They just really got banged up by the end of the year last year. So if they can start this thing off 5-0, which I think they will, they got a really good chance to go 10-0.
So 10-0 for Franklin. From me, what do you have, Matt?
I got him at 10-0.
10-0, man. The pressure.
He's gonna love that.
The pressure is on. I can hear him right now at Franklin High School. Independence High School, defending 5A champions, 15-0, number 1 in the country, Max Preps right now. Does Coach Blade have an opportunity to go back-to-back?
I think he does. I think they can be really good. So.
I think they can be good too. Here's the thing. Coach Blade is not one to talk up about his team. Last year, never could get him to come out and say, yeah, we're pretty good. Now, obviously, the proof was in the pudding that they were good, but never could. But he is as excited, if not more excited, about this team than he was last year. Team speed's going to be up. I still have some questions. To replace Andrew Bunch is that's going to be a tall task.
Right.
Anybody that steps into that position, it's a tall task because, he was a general on the field for him, a coach on the field. He has talked many times about watching the defense line up, and before he could even make the call, Andrew's already waving him off saying, I see it, and having it. Now, whoever steps into that role, you don't necessarily have to be the most athletic, but you got to have that IQ and that feel for the game. And the speed of play and the pace of play that they play at, you've got to have to be a quick thinker. Over-under set at 9.5 on Independence.
I'm going with the under.
You're going with the under?
Yeah, I think they.
However, hold on. There's a caveat there. You still think they have an opportunity to repeat.
I think they will repeat, but I don't think they will.
You think they will repeat, but
Yeah.
there is a hiccup in the plan.
I think so, yes.
So let's look at the rundown real quick. Brentwood at home. Week 1, Centennial away, Lincoln County away, Smyrna away, Summit away, Stewart's Creek at home, Shelbyville at home, Columbia Central at home, Franklin County away, Laverne, who has picked up a lot of noise right now with their 2 big commits, will be the last game of the year at Indy. That could be the game of the year, possibly.
Be pretty neat.
But I've got them going 10-0. Who do you have the hiccups?
Smyrna.
Smyrna, I did have that as a hurdle early. That's a difficult game. They're always a dangerous matchup. But last year going in there with some injuries and still pulling out the win, I still give the edge to Independence.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good game. It'll be fun. I'm glad they're playing again. I just think, one, it's the 4th game of the season, so it's still a little bit early. You talked about all the guys they've got to replace, and they're going to be fine. I still think they go all the way in 5A. But I think Smyrna is going to be one of the really, really good teams next year. They got a running game that is going to be, those guys are going to be able to line up and run it at anybody. They're going to be physical. They're a 6A program. So I think it'll be a good one. It's going to be a fun one to watch. But I think that one, now if it was later on in the year, I might be changing my pick. But I think that one's going to be a tough one for them to get.
Well, that's an interesting prediction that Tate has. He's going to have them under on the 9.5, but repeating as 5A state champions.
I think they win the 5A state championship. Back to back.
Interesting. And how awesome would that be?
That'd be pretty neat.
Page Patriots, over and under set at 4.5 due to the fact of Michael Magochi no longer there, Michael Roberts no longer there. A lot of pieces of the puzzle they have to fill in for Coach Rathbone and his team. Let's look at their rundown. Fairview away, Lipscomb at home, Spring Hill at home, Forest at home, Lawrence County, BGA, and Tullahoma all on the road, Giles County on the road, and then they come back, finish up at home with White House and Marshall County. I've got them going possibly 4-6, maybe even 5-5. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be an easy task. Maybe we are underselling them a little bit. Maybe he has some pieces of the puzzle that are ready there, but I see some hiccups. Marshall County having some guys there that are some high recruits.
Yes.
Giles County always athletic. I've got them going 4-6. What do you got?
5-5.
So you're going to take the over.
I'm going to take the
4.5.
over. Got it. They got in some games. Those last 3 games are going to be really, really tough. David O'Connor's back at Giles County. Giles County, like you said, they always have athletes. He will make them better. So they're going to be a tough team. That Giles County, White House, Marshall County stretch, that's tough at any division. Doesn't matter who you are. So you got to pick up the Fairview win, and you got to pick up Spring Hill and Forest. if you have a chance of going 5-5. I think they will, but those first 5 games are going to be very important to the Page Patriots.
The Marshall County game you're speaking of, that's the last game of the year going to playoffs. They got two of the highest recruited guys right now. They have a lot of team speed. Lipscomb always tough, disciplined team. I think they bounced back from the BGA loss last year that happened in, I think, double overtime. I think they get that win. Tullahoma, they get the win. Forest and Spring Hill. But got some work, and I hope they prove me wrong. But there's a lot of pieces of the puzzle he has to fix. Ravenwood right now, over and under set at 7.5. Richie Westman era begins there. A lot of question marks about what kind of offense is going to run, what kind of defense. It'll be interesting. Right now, as the schedule looks, Siegel, at Brentwood, at Mount Juliet, Centennial at home, Franklin at home, at McGavick, Lebanon at home, at Overton, Wilson Central, and Antioch at home. 7.5 over under. What do you have?
You just don't know. There's so much of an unknown, and most of the teams on this schedule are better than they were last year. I don't know how Ravenwood can be better. I'm going to go with the under. I think they get 6 regular season wins.
We set it pretty high at 7.5, and I don't disagree. You know, defending 6A champions, new coach. Man, the pieces,
lost a lot of good players.
The pieces that they're losing, they still have some good pieces coming back. Yeah. Question marks there. I've got them at 7-3, so it's going to be close for me. I'm going to have to obviously take the under, but 7-3 would be a great year for them, given the circumstances going into playoffs. And anything can happen for the Raptors.
Well, and the great thing, they're 6A. They're in. They're in the playoffs. Just get better, be playing your best ball at the end of the year.
Summit Spartans, over under at 6.5. Coach Coleman's going to have a fit when he sees us. 6.5, over under. Spring Hill at home, Clarksville Northwest away, Shelbyville away, Lebanon at home, Independence at home, at Laverne, Franklin County and Lincoln County at home, Stewart's Creek, Columbia away. What do you have?
Over-under's what?
6.5.
I take the over.
Absolutely over. They're going 7-3. Mark it down right here. They get in the playoffs. I got a hiccup here. Obviously, the border battle is going to be tough with Indy. Laverne, who knows what's going to happen with that team. I think Lincoln County, for whatever reason, I've got that in my head. I would like to see them bounce back and get that win. Get a win against them, because if they beat them, at the possibility of going 8-2, that would be phenomenal. Summit Spartans getting in the playoffs.
That'd be awesome, man. I think you're right. Hey, 7 wins, that would be a heck of an achievement. But again, playoffs is what we're shooting for, and you're right. We called it at the end of last season. They're going to be there. Last but not least,
Knowlesville Knights over under set at a half a game. They have one game. It is against South Gibson on the 2nd. What do you think? September 2nd.
I'm going to take the over. I have to be honest. I know absolutely nothing about South Gibson. I wish this game was a little bit later on in the season, but I think Coach Hester and the guys will get them ready. I'm going with the over. They go, hey, they're going to go undefeated.
Undefeated,
in varsity football.
How much fun is that going to be? The community is going to be there. It's going to be a great evening. Game day, we'll be there. All right, last thing before we go off the air, over under playoff teams in 6.5 teams. This year we had 7. What do you have?
Over.
Absolutely over. We're going to go 7, maybe even all 8 in. That would be awesome to get all 8 in. First time ever to get all the football teams in. We'll come back next week, hopefully have a talk with one of the coaches from WCS Sports Conference. Football's on the horizon. Stay tuned. We'll see you next time. This has been WCS Sports Connection.